Welcome to the Natural Health Podcast. We bring awareness of sustainable health in the business hustle space. The Natural Health Podcast is perfect for the high-performing, business-minded individuals who want to work with their biochemistry to achieve success and optimal health. It's Wednesday, which means it's time for What Would I Do? In today's episode of Natural Health Podcast, we discussed this week's question, which are all kept confidential, and I answer them as if it was me. The information provided is not to be taken as advice and is solely for information purposes only. I'm not here to cure, treat, or provide medical advice. I'm here to educate and inform you so you're able to take steps towards optimal health. Please discuss any medical issues or lifestyle changes with your healthcare professional. Let's get into today's question. So today's question reads like this. I was told I have a sluggish bile causing poor breakdown of fats. What are some things that I can do to support my gallbladder? An absolutely amazing question. Not a lot of people talk about the gallbladder, and when they do talk about the gallbladder, it's on the way that the doctor has said to them, I need to talk my gallbladder out, and therefore that's when the gallbladder is spoken about. But little do people actually know what the gallbladder does and what the gallbladder is. It is so important. The gallbladder is so important. So first, let's look into it, right? So the gallbladder is about a 4-inch pear-shaped organ. It's positioned under your liver in the upper right section of your abdomen. Its main job is to store about 50% of the bile that is made by the liver. So the liver makes the bile, the gallbladder stores the bile. That's important, right? So the gallbladder stores the bile, a combination of fluids, fats, cholesterol. Bile essentially helps break down fat from your food in your intestines, and the gallbladder delivers bile into the small intestine. This allows fat-soluble vitamins and nutrients to be more easily absorbed into your bloodstream. So we can see what could happen if your gallbladder is actually not functioning, or the bile is not functioning the way it's supposed to be. We spoke about fat-soluble vitamins, and we spoke about nutrients, and we spoke about absorbing them, right? So these can all go haywire, right? So what can be some symptoms about having gallbladder issues? And this is what you actually may be experiencing, right? Which is pain. So pain, which is associated on the right side of the abdomen under your liver. This usually occurs in your mid to upper right section. So mid to upper right section, it can occur right there. Okay, nausea and vomiting, individuals get that, and these are common gallbladder issues, right? So are acid reflux and gas. Fever and chills are other ones. The other ones would also be chronic diarrhea, jaundice. Some kids are born with jaundice because of liver, but some people actually get jaundice, okay? The other ones are unusual stool or urine, okay? So what is the connection? Let's just quickly look into bile itself. We've spoken about the gallbladder a little bit now, so you understand what the gallbladder is and what it does in our body, right? But let's talk about bile, because that's what it stores. The gallbladder stores the bile. But what is bile, right? So after production in the liver, so the liver produces it, bile travels via the common bile duct to the gallbladder for storage. When dietary fats enter the small intestine, they are censored by endocrinoid cells, which release the hormone cholecystokinin, right? And that stimulates contractions of the gallbladder and the release of bile into the small intestine. Okay, so essentially, you have your liver makes the bile comes down this duct, goes into the gallbladder, and it stays there, okay? But then you eat some fatty food, in an instance, or any food that has fat in it, which you probably should have healthy fats, not just talking about the bad fats. Okay, anyway, so it goes into your small intestine for absorption, and then these cells trigger for your gallbladder to go goo goo, well, whatever noise it makes, and then bile is released, and therefore that fat is able to be broken down. If no bile is released, that fat is not able to break down, but not only that, those fat-soluble vitamins, the minerals, they are not able to be absorbed. The fat-soluble vitamins are not being able to absorb if you do not have bile. Okay, interesting. So bile is actually made up of 97% water, with the remaining 3% consists of mixture of bile acid, cholesterol, phospholipids, bilirubin, inorganic salts, and trace minerals. It kind of like, to make it simple, let's make it simple terms. Bile acts like a detergent, right? So whenever you're washing the dishes, your favorite thing to do in the world, when you're washing the dishes, when you let's say you have a pan that's full of fat and oil, right? When you're washing it, water will not just take it off. You need to get that sponge, you need to get the detergent to take it off. That is the bile. The detergent is the bile in simple terms, okay? So this is why you may be having issues to break down fats in your question in particular, because you may not be making enough bile or good quality bile, right? But what you need to know is bile is crucial for proper absorption of fat-soluble vitamins such as A, D, E, K, and also cholesterol. Absolutely key. Some questions to ask yourself, right, is do you have gallstones? This is some of the issues that may occur if you don't have proper bile. Do you have gallstones? Have you been checked for gallstones? Do you have an infection in the bile duct? Do you have abscess in the gallbladder? Do you have polyps in the gallbladder or around the gallbladder? Is there an issue with the bile duct, right? Is there an issue happening there? Is your diet high in trans fat, processed foods, refined carbohydrates? Do you actually have a leaky gut? And this is such an interesting connection, right? Because gallbladder disease or gallbladder issues causes less bile entering the small intestine, which then equals leaky gut and dysbiosis. Who would have made that link? What an absolutely amazing link. Let's say that again. You have gallbladder issues, gallbladder disease, which means you're producing less bile. Therefore, less bile enters the small intestine. Therefore, there's a creation of leaky gut and dysbiosis. Mind-blowing, right? The other question is, do you have celiac disease or do you have gluten intolerance? Why? Because gluten intolerance and celiac disease increase the prevalence of gallstones or biliary cirrhosis. These are some of the issues that can occur. So questions to ask yourself also is, when did this start and what occurred when this started? And why have you been told that you have a bile issue? What happened? Like, what have they actually told you? Why have they told you that you have a bile issue? What was the reason behind it? Why is your body not producing enough bile? Or why is it not releasing the bile when it's supposed to be released? Or has it been doing it for years and years and years and it's just sick of it now and it's just closed its door? Okay, what would I do? If this was an issue that I had, which I have, is interesting, is what would I do? Okay, so what I did, or what I would do, is I would get my gallbladder tested. What I mean by that is a blood test looking at the ALT, AST, bilirubin, GGT, ALP. All of these can see if there's an issue with the liver or the gallbladder, okay? If there is a bigger issue, sometimes you may need to get your gallbladder checked and the doctors will send you a referral to get it checked out. I think it's an ultrasound, I believe, and they check it out and what is happening. Is there a problem with, do you have gallstones? Is there a bile duct issue? So this is what I would get checked out. Is there a functional issue, like an issue with the actual gallbladder? Is there something happening there with the structure of it? Is there something happening there? That's what I would get checked first, right? I would also remove inflammatory foods because these cause havoc on your body. Removing gluten, processed foods, sugar, and so forth, right? I would increase my diet filled with vegetables, fiber, healthy fats, nuts, fish, avocado, and so forth, right? I would heal the gut, right? Because gut inflammation causes biliary issues, gallbladder issues. A lack of bile equals more gut inflammation, and it's an ongoing circle. Gut inflammation causes lack of bile causes gut inflammation, blah, and so forth, right? So look at healing the gut. I would stimulate bile flow, and this is only if there isn't an issue with the gallbladder. This can be dangerous in some people. So please work with a healthcare professional. Stimulating bile includes eating such things as dandelion, bitters. They're called bitters. I absolutely love bitters. Some people don't. This is something like a dandelion. You can get dandelion tea, dandelion root, milk thistle, ginger. You can have these in supplements, meals, or teas. I highly recommend foods first, eating bitter foods before your food. having these as teas, and then if need be, with working with your healthcare professional, taking the supplements. In extreme cases, I would consider supplementing with bile, with actual bile, which can be from bovine or ox sources, to restore until your body is able to make the bile that it requires. This is in extreme cases, not the first thing to do. Absolutely not the first thing to do, right? But first thing that I would do over all this is work with a healthcare professional who understands your body, who understands what the gallbladder does, and who understands what is happening inside of your body. Well, I hope that this has shed some light to your question and anyone listening who may have this similar issue. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at mihaela.raguz on Instagram, and I will hopefully be in touch with you and be able to answer your question via the Natural Health Podcast. Remember, you are not alone in the journey to optimal health. I'm here to assist you and make your journey a pleasant one. Until next Wednesday, love you.